Thank you. Welcome to the District of Clearwater's 2022 to 2026 draft financial plan discussion. This PowerPoint will be available on the district's website at www.docbc.ca. It'll be available from today towards March 2nd. Members of council will be available to receive feedback and as staff as well. Thanks. Today we'll be talking about the legislation, the process, and the timeline. We'll quickly look at 2021 property taxes in review from a high level. And also we'll look at the 2022 proposed projects for each service area. We'll look at assessments and taxation and next steps. Moving forward to the financial plan process, the community charter, the main legislation guiding the municipality requires that 5-year financial plan bylaw be adopted annually by May 20, and filed by May 15th. Local governments are not allowed to run a deficit. The financial plan is formed by direction from council, which considers our current strategic plan and current policy and legislation. Oh, go back one slide. For our timeline for the 2022 financial plan work, it began in the fall of 2021. The CAO and the Director of Finance met with managers to review 2021 and discuss plans for 2022. Draft operating and capital plans were presented to council in late 2021. After several workshops, staff and council have developed the draft financial plan, which we present to you today. We are now seeking input from the public on this plan. The following slides will list the proposed 2022 capital projects and some special operating projects. After receiving input, the financial plan will be finalized and a bylaw will be sent to council for adoption in April. From there, tax rates will be set and adopted by bylaw by the statutory deadline by May 15th. Tax bills will be mailed out by the end of May, and 2022 property tax deadline will be July 4th, 2022. At this point, I would really like to thank our CAO and the previous Director of Finance, Roxanne Shepard, and council for all the work that they have done. I'm fairly new in this position, exactly 6 days. So thanks for all the work that was done prior to my arrival. And right, Doug Chapman was the acting interim leader. So 2021 taxes collected. On your tax notice, you will notice that the district acts as an agent to collect taxes for other government organizations, including the Thompson-Nicola Regional District, the Regional Hospital District, the Provincial School, and the Police Tax and BC Assessment and the Municipal Finance Authority. You can see by the green section in that pie chart that the District of Clearwater collects about 60% of the taxes that you will see on your tax notice. The rest are distributed to other governments. This slide indicates the taxes that were collected by class. Of the municipal portion, there are several classes of property rates. This chart shows the percentage of the total 2021% of municipal property taxes that each property class is paying. You will see that class 1, which is residential, it's the navy part of the pie chart there, are paying the bulk of the property taxes at 56%. Of the 2.7 million in municipal taxes collected in 2021, residential paid 1.5 million of that amount, followed by business class at 25.63% or 698,000, and utilities at 18% or 491,000. So I'll go back one slide, please. Thanks. So how are your property tax dollars spent? Of the 2021 2.7 million municipal taxes collected in 2021, 36% or about $1 million are allocated to roads, 14% to general government or 400,000, 13% to fire protection or 380,000, 8% to parks or 218,000, and 9% to the North Thompson Sportplex at 258,000. The following slides, we will be providing descriptions and project details by each area or department. General government includes legislative, administration, finance, and facility maintenance. It also includes the Wells Gray Community Forest, which is a commission of council. In 2021, the fixed asset software system was purchased, but final configuration is scheduled to occur in 2022. Other general government projects are the server and computer replacement. Currently, our systems are beyond their useful life. We will be replacing about 11 workstations and a backup server, a digital key management system, an audiovisual upgrades for council, and assessment on our records management system, which is required by new LGMA requirements. Fire and protective services. Our fire department has responded to 64 calls in 2021, including BC ambulance assists, first responder, mutual aid, vehicle incidents, and fire. Protective services includes building and inspection, bylaw enforcement, and emergency services. In 2021, the fire department replaced their self-contained breathing apparatus, or SCBA, and compressor, as well as their annual turnout gear replacement. In 2022, the proposed plan is to purchase a protection trailer, gear for the EOC, and the annual turnout gear replacement program. Clearwater has 24 community parks and an extensive trail network system. In 2021, our staff completed the installation of a storm drain at Rotary Park, installation of 5 bear-proof garbage cans, redesigned the 37 East property, and started the planning for Wells Gray Inn to Roundabout Trail. In 2022, staff are proposing to install further bear-proof garbage cans, purchase of a marquee tent. However, there are also 3 trail projects that are on the proposed plan. Some are 100% funded by, go back one slide. Okay. Some are 100% funded by grants, and some are partially funded. There are the Dutch Lake Subdivision Trail, the Wells Gray Inn to Roundabout Trail, and the Park Drive Trail. The North Thompson Sportsplex. The North Thompson Sportsplex is operated as a shared service that is funded 60% by the District of Clearwater and 40% by the Thompson-Nicola Regional District Area A. Each year, 100,000 is placed in reserves for future capital projects, and current capital projects are funded by that reserve. In 2021, a roof audit was completed, and as a result, there is a proposed roof renovation in 2022 for $100,000. Other 2022 projects are a second floor expansion study and backflow preventer and water meters for the sportsplex. Planning and development. Planning and development services processes applications for the agricultural land reserve, rezoning, development permits, development variances, subdivision applications, temporary use permits, and liquor and cannabis licenses. There was 40 building permits issued in 2021 worth about $12 million. In 2022, the district plans on updating the DCC bylaw relating to the planning department. economic development. The district's economic development activity includes community economic development assessment and planning and supporting economic initiatives and business development and developing and implementing relevant marketing and communication strategies. The focus for 2022 for Economic Development Department is to hire an economic development officer to implement the community economic development strategy. Public Works. Public Works maintains all district properties, including the cemetery. They also maintain the dike, the septage receiving station, and the water and sewer systems. The proposed 2022 projects for Public Works is to replace the backhoe, which has high operating hours and costly maintenance repairs. The proposed Public Works expansion includes expanding the fence line, relocating the seat cans, improving drainage, and setting up a cold mix storage area. Roads. The district maintains 69 kilometers of roads. The financial plan includes street lighting, signage, and general road maintenance. In 2021, staff completed the structural Brookfield Bridge repair. However, the current railing is not designed for pedestrian or cycling traffic. Therefore, in 2022, the project is to install the appropriate railing for the bridge. Also, proposed capital for 2022 is a chip and crack sealing equipment, which will provide the district with the ability to seal road cracks in-house. And the district budgets an annual capital roads budget of $100,000. Water services. There are over 850 active water connections in the district. The service is funded by user fees currently at $30.63 per month for residential properties and an annual $138.73 parcel tax. In 2021, the SCADA server was replaced and 3 generators for the intake, booster station and reservoir were purchased. In 2022, the district is proposing to install backup power at Russell Creek, and there will also be a Trans Mountain crossing work complete worth approximately $950,000 in total. Water service will be allocated $475,000, and wastewater service will be allocated the remaining. Wastewater service. 205 properties in the district are serviced by the sanitary sewer system. Residential user fees are $40.26 per month, and there is an annual parcel tax of $40. In 2021, the district completed the Trans Mountain septage receiving and the general septage receiving station and the hospital lift station and the In 2021, the district completed the Trans Mountain septage receiving and the general septage receiving station. Also, the hospital lift station and the SRS receiving station are now connected to the SCADA. The 2022 proposed projects include the other half of the Trans Mountain crossing that we just mentioned in the water service and the Cell 1 sludge drying bed. Recreation. The district offers many recreation and healthy living classes each year for participants of all ages. Some of these programs are listed on this slide. Programming was shut down 3 times in 2021 due to COVID-19 restrictions, and the gym fire had a large impact on space availability. Restrictions had prohibited many events to be held. However, in 2022, we are excited to recruit more program facilitators to promote wellness, as well as generate more events to bring neighbors and community members together. The district offers 3 transit services: the regular service that is shared with the Thompson-Nicola Regional District Area A, the Community Loop, and the Valley Connector to Kamloops twice a week. we also offer a handy dart and an on-request service. There is a phone number there if you would like to contact the contractor Yellowhead Community Services to get scheduling questions. So in total, the proposed 2022 capital projects total about $4.9 million. And as you can see, the trails in the green there represents $2.6 million. However, a lot of that comes from grants. The water is 498,000 and the sewer is 871,000, just a few highlights. Special 2022 special operating projects. Special operating projects are projects that are not part of the regular day-to-day operating costs, but are special. They're usually a one-time event, and they're not capital. You can't capitalize them. So in the for administration, we have 58,000 in special operating projects. They include items such as a consultant for a long-term financial plan and ARO, which is a new regulation for finance. It includes HR software subscription and some legislative consultants for the strategic plan. For the planning department, it includes consulting for the DCC bylaw update. And for the fire department, the EOC is for establishing the EOC. And for public works, the 5,000 is for cross connection control. So at this time, this is a short video produced by BC Assessment. It's about 3 minutes long. It provides the viewer with a great explanation of the impact of assessments versus property taxes. And let's see if we can that you might have to. And it's on a really So I was just saying that those videos are available to us with BC Assessment, and they've done a really good job in trying to explain that. So saying that, I'm just going to move into 2 slides of what we can expect. For every, the purpose of the slide is to demonstrate what the impact is for every 0.5%. For example, if council decides on an increase of 2.5% in funding from tax, the result will be about $120,000. That's just an example. Assessments and property tax. So as a qualifier, this is an estimate of what we can expect, calculated based on reports that we've received from BC Assessment. We receive initial reports early in December, and we'll be receiving what we call the revised roll, they call it, later in June. So that's just a little bit of a qualifier because things could change. But this slide demonstrates the impact if council were to approve an increase of spending of 2.5% to the budget. The average impact to the, and it's a straight, simple average impact to the residential homeowner would be less than in 2021. And this is a result of growth in the community. We have a small growth in the community of about we call it non-market growth. It's 1.43%. And that's as a result of that. So more people coming into the community, or reflects that you're spreading that as the BC assessment video indicated, you spread out that amount over more people or more properties. So as with all the local governments, the district is facing challenges related to COVID-19. Although services are returning to normal slowly, services have been scaled back in 2021 or canceled or modified, and revenues have been impacted by that. The pandemic has also resulted in an influx of people from larger centers, and housing is scarce and vacancy rates are low. Staff is working diligently to provide services to the community. However, as with growth, there is a strain to staff capacity. Budgeting for costs and timing of projects remain a challenge with the increase in pricing and supply chain. And this is where you come in. We welcome your feedback. Go ahead.
So just to add a couple comments with respect to how the budget was developed over the last number of months. Right now, we're looking at about 0.96% reduction in tax rate in order to develop a balanced budget. However, when council was considering the minutiae of going for public consultation, we were asked to consult on approximately 2.5% as a tax rate increase. And this was done because a significant amount of projects we have scheduled for 2022 are actually funded, except for trails, through the use of reserve accounts and surplus accounts. And so the continued use of surplus and reserve accounts inevitably will deplete the district's savings, if you will. And so the question of what would be roughly $122,000 generated as a result of a 2.5% increase, what would that money be used for? And the recommendation for staff is to replenish some of the reserves that will be utilized in order to deliver on some of the projects. So we presented the information we have on the budget. There is some additional information or detailed information contained in the business cases in the published public council package agendas. Feel free to reference those if you require additional details on what the organization intends on doing for those individual projects. But we would love to hear your comments, feedback. I think we broke a record tonight with 2, 4, 5 people participating. That's awesome. And I'm not sure how many online. So please, we're here to listen. If you have any comments, we can pass the microphone around.
Thank you. Thank you for that. Hello?
Yeah, you won't hear.
Pardon? No?
You won't be able to.
Okay, I won't be able to tell. Okay. I didn't expect to come and speak, but whenever there's an opportunity, I like to speak. So thank you very much for that. That was very informative. I'm sorry, I'm a bit of a slow learner, so some of those numbers were a little bit fast. But I wanted to make a comment on the economic development part to start with. As you know, this area has a large group of seniors living here. And I'm quite delighted that we have a seniors coordinator that is funded through the district. And I really want to make sure that that position continues to be funded and if at all possible, can be expanded to full-time sometime. I think that's a very, very important thing for economic development in this area. I also want to make a comment about the arts in this area. We live in a community that has incredible number of world-class Canada class artists living in this area. We have people who have exhibited their art in the Kamloops airport. We have a lady who has painted murals in the Vancouver Children's Hospital. We have people who have published books on all kinds of different things. This community is full of artists, and I really implore the council to think of ways that artists and artists' needs become one of the continuous priorities to be paying attention to. I was delighted to be invited by Megan Sim as Wells Grey Country Senior Society has a writers program. We have a writers circle. The Wells Grey Country Senior Society sponsors the writers circle, and they also sponsor a book club. And when Megan came and asked if we would be part of the advertising for this winter sports thing, I was absolutely delighted to have an opportunity to do 2 programs. The difference in just doing it out of our own sort of initiative and doing it when we're surrounded by the support of the community, there's just something completely different about that. And I would really like to see that continue. I know we are kind of fractured in our organizations, but that is one way to really pull the organizations together. And I really want to emphasize that. Oh. Yeah, and when you look at recreation and healthy living events, they are mostly sports oriented, and wellness and holistic programs include the arts. So I think that's probably enough. I didn't mean to go on and on. So thank you very much, and welcome, Linda. And it's wonderful that you've chosen Clearwater. It's a great place.
Yeah, my name is Keith McNeil. I just got a couple of questions. Page 5, it says 37 East Park redesign. What is 37 East Park?
So just at the intersection here to turn in by the RCMP, the empty lot where the restaurant stood,
Okay.
that's 37 East.
And then page 7, it talks about dike maintenance. And I know there's been questions about who owns the dikes and who's responsible. I'm just wondering what's happening with that.
So dike maintenance has typically been done by the district. There are some areas where ownership of the dike, that section of the dike is posed a concern in some cases, but ultimately the responsibility for maintenance is absorbed by the district, and we will continue to do that.
Any chance the province is going to help out?
We hope so. We know that orphan dikes and general dike maintenance obviously took a center stage recently because of the flood situation. We don't have any information at this point to suggest that the province will step in and provide financial support or that sort of assistance, but we would welcome it for sure.
That was about it. Oh, awesome. Guys are doing a great job.
Thank you.
So we're looking at 23. Yeah. So if you look at the 0%, you can see that both those amounts are the same. And then if you look at the 0.5, the extra 0.5 of the jump generates 13,689, and the total between the 53 and the 13 is now 67. So each jump. Yeah, that's what, yeah. I asked the same question from our interim. Correct. Yeah. 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 2.5 is the 122. Yeah.
The TMX crossing, the district have some water and sewer infrastructure in the area near the fire hall, fire department, that leads to a siphon that leads to a lagoon. TMX crossing goes, it's not parallel, but perpendicular, I believe, uh, crossing over water and sewer infrastructure. The infrastructure was installed in the 1970s approximately, and they're about 50 years old, which is coming up on the useful life of the particular product that was used at the time. And so asbestos piping is one of them, and iron piping is another. They're very susceptible to breakage at this stage in the game, 50 years old. And so with TMX's planned activity to cross in that location, we are preparing for the possibility of having to address some water and sewer infrastructure there at the same time. Do you mind if I go through the list? um, we'll share the answer on that. Answer the first part.
So, so of the 4.9 million, 2.7 is grants. And yeah, so then everything else would be either coming from reserves or taxation.
Awesome. So key management, I believe that's under the taxation column. Council chamber audiovisual upgrades, that's part of COVID-19 funding that the district received. Record management assessment, that's taxation. Annual computer replacement, I believe that's taxation as well, or perhaps a reserve. I stand corrected. Amaze fixed asset software, that's surplus, thank you. Structure protection trailer completion. So we have already started this process in a previous financial year or fiscal year. We're hoping to complete the grant application process to the Wells Gray Community Forest Commission so that we can get the funding to complete that project. Turnout gear replacement, we do that on an annual basis. That I believe is reserve. EOC gear, that's a grant. We did get a grant for EOC in 21, I believe, and that's a continuation of that project. Thanks, Linda. Backhoe replacement, taxation. Surplus, I apologize. Annual tool cat replacement program. So we're not actually replacing the tool cat on an annual basis anymore. Instead, we're trying to save up for the replacement of the equipment when it's nearing the end of its useful life. The annual road capital program. That's under reserve. Chip and crack sealing. Gas tax, thank you. Brookfield Bridge, that's also gas tax, I believe. GIS AutoCAD computer upgrades. IT reserve, thank you. Public Works yard expansion, taxation. Sportsplex, second floors expansion study, surplus. NTSP roof renovation, surplus. Water meter and backflow prevention valve. That's a carry forward project from last year as well, and that's funded from. Awesome, thank you. Trails, Wells, sorry. Wells Gray Inn to Roundabout. Been a long day, sorry. That is funded by a grant to the tune of. Thank you. It's a split between gas tax and the grant. Dutch Lake Subdivision Trail. Thank you. 100% funded by grant. Park Drive Trail, 100% funded by grant at this point. Bear-proof garbage containers. That's under taxation. Marquee tents, that's through a TMX community benefit impact agreement funding. The annual toolcat replacement, again, that's the district saving for the replacement of this piece of equipment. Russell Creek backup power, that's under taxation. TMX crossing, that's surplus. Sewer pumps. Taxation, thank you. So one phase 2 sludge drying bed, that's on our grant. And TMX crossing for sewer, that's under surplus as well. The operating projects. With the new council starting in October, one of the first priorities is going to be to develop a new strategic direction for the district or to continue the existing one. That will be up to the council to decide. But we're budgeting some money for the onboarding process as well as the strategic planning process for the new council. Office furniture, we're hoping to replace some desks in 2022. Asset retirement obligation, LT financial plan or long-term financial plan. The district is going to continue the process of making evidence-based decision, and in doing so, we have to ground the decisions in the existing plans or new plans developed by the District of Clearwater. Part of that asset retirement obligation is linked to asset management planning overall. I believe there is a requirement driven by, what's the organization again? It's the accounting organization, PSAB. Thank you. Public sector accounting body, PSAB, is also implementing a new requirement for public bodies to calculate and register the retirement obligations for various assets, and the District of Clearwater is going to have to meet that obligation. HR software subscription, so it's part of an overall program that we're doing to increase recruitment and retention efforts for the district, including training and development. And that software subscription is going to facilitate this process. For some reason, my tongue is heavy tonight. Cemetery legal training bylaw update. So one of the projects initiated in 21 by council was the updating of the Clearwater Improvement District bylaw for cemetery operations. This is going to require us to engage legal and to make sure the new bylaw that's being drafted it meets the requirements of today's standard. And so that's what that funding is intended to address. GCC bylaw update. So council started this process in 21 as well. for updating the DCC for the community. Council is also going to be going out for consultation on DCC and a draft infrastructure master plan as well, which was the discussion started in December, I believe. Cross connection control. That's part of our ongoing maintenance functions for public works to make sure we are continuing to deliver safe potable water for the community and to prevent cross contamination as best as possible. Fire department EOC. That funding will be used to make sure we are prepared. As you will see, we have some cases on the side here for our emergency operations center functioning. In the event that we have a similar fire season or another type of emergency, we would have to establish our EOC and continue to do our best to protect life and property for residents of Clearwater. Absolutely. We're finalizing the design for the all the trails projects, and we will be going out for information sessions to the community as well, including for the Dutch Lake Trail. So more information to come on that. Any other questions? Do you have any questions? Yeah. Any thoughts on 2.5 as a tax rate? Any comments, any inputs you'd like us to bring back to council? And that's fair. If you don't have any, that's fine. Inflation, I believe in January was in the neighborhood of 5%. All costs for the municipality has gone up, generally speaking. And so what we've done was leverage as much grant funding as possible that we have confirmed. We submitted a new grant application yesterday for the siphon replacement project for near the fire hall over there. We're doing our best to find grants, apply for them, use grants we already have, and to balance the tax rate against our ability to use some of the funding saved up in reserve. And the point of reserve is to save for a future expense, and some of those future expenses have arrived. So. Any concerns, any projects you wish council to hear that are important to you for addressing?
I would really like the council to continue to push for a roundabout by the Wells Gray Hotel. And I know that's extraordinarily expensive, and I think it's extraordinarily important. That is a dangerous, stupid intersection. And even as, sorry, I didn't mean to say stupid, trying to be, even now where the pedestrian crosswalk is across the highway, that snow is not being cleared. Nobody could walk across there safely. It's unbelievably bad. And where you come out of Harvey Road, there is such a big mound of snow right there. You can't see who's coming off the highway, who, you know, it's extraordinarily bad news. Yeah, so anyways, I really think council needs to keep pushing for that, especially with increased tourists expected to come, I'm sure. And you know that this area is not going to, this area is going to continue to become popular for many years to come. And that is a real travesty. It's awful. Anyways.
Oh, yes, please, of course. Thank you for bringing this forward. I will be looking into this with our operations team and see what we could do without having to go through council. This is something I think we could take on operationally. Thank you.
No, we're talking about the two. Yeah, no, I don't think that's the way. This has always been a confusing issue. The 2.5% is of the amount funded through taxation. And that's why we can, yeah, so that's why you can see it coming down for the average household. So back to that question is if the average household or resident sees a 32% increase in their value in the year, if their neighbor got a 40% increase in their value, their neighbor would actually, and it usually occurs when you buy and sell, so that neighbor would actually see it pay more. But yeah, so just because it went up 30% doesn't mean your taxes go up 30%. Doug, I'm just talking. Doug, are you still there?
Yes, I'm still here.
Is my explanation correct to Councillor Banford's question?
I didn't hear the question.
Oh, that's
What actually is the 2.5% a change in? Is it a 2.5% change in the actual rate per thousand? Is it a 2.5% change in the actual $5 million budget? So it's 2.5% additional in the budget. What is the 2.5% actually reflect?
The 2.5% is the increase over the tax requisition from 2021. So we take
So it's a
last year's
2.5% increase in what the tax requisition was.
yes, for the prior year, 2021.
So to add a little bit more context.
So it'd be
thank you, Doug.
if it was 2.7 million, 2.5% increase would take it to 2.739, something. Okay.
For the benefit of the audience, the total amount of money generated through taxation for 2021 was about $2.7 million.
Alternative, so it's last year's make math very easy. If you brought in $100,000 last year in taxation and needed $2,500 more this year to pay for something, you would raise the tax rate by 2.5%. Together, that's $500, correct?
Welcome to our life during the budget.
Oh, no, I'm just talking about, I understand the assessment part of the fact that I'm talking about what council was bringing in. through taxation. So like you made, it started in 2 million last year. Yeah. Is that amount you're timing by 2.5? Yeah. Whatever it is. Okay. Exactly. Okay.
That's the best explanation I've heard so far.
Straightforward. I am a journalist. My whole entire job is basically.
That's what
easy
people
for
can
everyone to
understand.
So I have to understand it.
Very, very true.
I'd say as a counselor through this whole process, every time we do it, every year, I come around to like our finance staff, and it was a cabal of them this year. There was quite a few different people in there, but it's amazing what they get done in a year, and just to understand it, it's a lot. And so the amount of work that's brought it to this point, it's really exciting. And so it's cool to be able to show you guys. I do wish there was more people here, and I hope people are able to check out the recording online because it's so good to share.
And to add to that, the list of project 37 projects. That's in addition to everything else that happens in the day-to-day operation of the municipality. And in any given day, one issue can derail an entire week or more worth of planning and work that was scheduled to be done based on prioritization. So if something comes up, we have to prioritize accordingly. And so a very good example of that would be the atmospheric river situation that happened over the last fall. You know, most municipalities, I think, was caught off guard by the magnitude of the situation that had to be dealt with. So this list is not reflective of the total sum of work that staff put in, which is why capacity was identified as a barrier. And recruiting and retaining staff is a challenge in several ways, including housing. So it's all interconnected.